All right, guys, welcome to the last lecture of the course. This is Unit 15, Lecture 3. In the last video that you should have watched would have been the drunk history on Marsha P. Johnson, in which we saw a person, and to be clear, she's obviously the star and the hero of the video, but she is, socially speaking, in 1969, a nobody with no power whatsoever. And she changed the world. And she did it the way we talked about, by inserting a new idea and a new behavior into the social construction of reality. Today, in this last video, all I want to do, this video is called In Conclusion. I want to circle us back to the very beginning. The very beginning of this course, I made the really audacious, borderline stupid assertion that this would be the most important class that you took in college. That all, of course, depends on what you put into it. The reason that I said that, again, has nothing to do with my qualities as a teacher. It has to do with the fact that sociology allows you to understand the way the real world works. The real world is like the water that a fish is swimming in. You don't notice it at first. It takes pointing out to understand. But if you never come to see that, if you never come to appreciate what is this social reality that we're made of, or that we are in, what is it made of? If you never notice it, you're a pawn. You are only going to be pushed around. Every thought, every behavior that you are going to have is going to be influenced by society. Now, I say this a couple of times, I've said this a couple of times during the course of this entire class. Going along with what society says is not always a bad thing, but it is bad if you never reflect on, is this really getting me to what is going to make me happy? Not even is it getting me to success, because success is determined by society. It's part of the collective consciousness. In order for you to be happy, you can't get 20, 30, 40 years down the road, be living in a huge mansion and married to somebody, and then all of a sudden have the thought, this is not ever really what I wanted. It bears thinking right now when you're in young adulthood. Okay, so yes, society has told me these are the things that I should want. And if they are the things that you want, that's fine. But you've got to determine that for yourself. You've got to understand, how is society pushing me around? What is it trying to get me to think? Because society doesn't care if you're happy. The only one who can look out for that is you. Once you understand how society works, how it's influencing you in specific ways, it doesn't guarantee happiness. All it gives you is a fighting chance. A fighting chance is good, right? I mean, that's better than just being pushed around like a pawn, but it's just a fighting chance. In order to make it happen, you've got to work out for yourself what is going to make you happy. Not what is going to be enjoyable, not what is going to be socially approved of. Those things are part of it. But it's got to come from, what is it that's going to make you happy? What is it that is going to be a day that you can repeat over and over and over again, that you will wake up and be excited about, and at the end of the day be proud of? That's what you've got to be thinking about. In order to do that, you've got to get familiar with the word agency. Agency very simply means your capacity to do what you want to do. It doesn't mean your capacity to act deviantly, because sometimes people are going to want you to act deviantly, and that might not be the thing that's going to bring you happiness. This has nothing to do with, this is not the opposite of deviance, it's not the opposite of conformity. This is not being pushed around because you've thought things through. Agency is important. Agency is the path to happiness. Again, it doesn't get you there by itself, but it is the thing that allows you to get there. Your happiness depends on agency. Sorry, I got to scroll down a little bit. Once you understand how society works, you can use agency to bring about your happiness. And as we saw in Marsha P. Johnson's video, it also allows you the possibility of making the world a better place, deciding When is it that you are going to step in and say, no, this is not how things should be? I am going to create a different symbol. I'm going to give people the possibility of saying, yeah, you know what? The machine that we normally build, it's not doing it for me. But this person, you, who just acted according to your agency, according to, in a way that produces a new idea or a new behavior, you doing that and giving that as a symbol for other people to see. It's not your responsibility to change the world, but if you change the world in a way that's positive for you, it benefits everybody. Okay. And you do that by stepping into the social construction of reality, and acting according to your agency, acting in a way that is deviant, in a way that is going to produce the world that you want. Importantly, it's not a guarantee that things are going to get better. You act deviantly, it's going to upset a lot of people. There are a lot of people who feel as though the way things are right now is good enough, or at a minimum, that the way that you want things to be is worse. I don't want to make it seem like you act in this deviant way and everybody sees the light and they put you on their shoulders and the credits start rolling. It doesn't work that way. Maybe sometimes, but a lot of the times it's going to upset people. And that's why, you have to make choices about this. But doing something, not doing something because you fear it's going to upset people isn't the road to happiness either. Again, it has to be about you thinking through what you want. Last thought for the course. You're almost there. Remember, everything in society was imagined into existence. Everything is fictional to some degree. And so I made this point when we talked about socialization. Imagine what would have been the society that you would have wanted to have been socialized into, that would have produced the personality and identity that would have been ideal for you, that you would have had the ideal socialization situation. I made that point when we talked about that in Unit 14. I want to make that point just one last time. Since it's all fictional, it's all imagined into existence, consider what would be the fictional existence that you would like to live in. What is the machine? What would it be like? What meanings would it have? What beliefs would people hold that would guide them? What would your ideal machine be like? And I don't mean like, you're living on the beach and the sun's setting and it's always 70 degrees or anything like that. You're going to have a machine. A society is going to exist. If you got to design it, what would it be like? It bears a little bit of thinking. But then once you have, consider acting like that society already exists. Consider acting like that ideal one for you is the one that you're acting based on all the time. Now, it's going to cause some friction potentially, but you acting based on those ideal meanings, those ideal beliefs, when you do that and you step into the social construction of reality, the symbols that those other people are going to get are the symbols from your ideal existence. And if you do that, and if they take those and say, yeah, you know what, that does work for me, there is the small chance, but a non-zero chance, that at least in some way you usher that ideal existence into reality. And that's a pretty fantastic thing to do. My last words, I wish all of you tremendous luck in finding happiness and changing the world for the better. I've got my fingers crossed for all of you. I hope it goes wonderfully. Bye.